Good evening, guys, and happy Friday to all of your sunshiny faces. Guys, I'm gonna go take a shower and get to bed. We ended up going to just Jack's football game, actually, because I realized we could have actually gone to the Frost-Off game maybe a little bit afterwards, just because today was sort of like not a weird day entirely, but like because my mom had to take Jack to the high school so that he could get bussed over for the varsity game, and they weren't going earlier before the varsity game, or before like during the JV game, so he had to get bussed over at a certain time while it was pretty much like the beginning of the Frost-Off game. So like where the Frost-Off game I think started at 5:30, Jack had to be at the school by like I think 5:30 or something like that. So like we could have maybe then wound up leaving straight from there, but then yeah, I think it was something like that. But my dad had to leave here by like 3:30 or something like that. So my mom had to drive my dad over to the high school so that he could go for the Frost-Off game to go and coach. And then Jack had to go back later for the varsity game. So anyways, long story short, and then my aunt was also here too. So, and then my mom was like, well, let's just eat before we wind up going to the game too. So like, she was like, but once we take Jack to, like once she dropped Jack off, then she was gonna make, like, we just ended up doing grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup sort of. So yeah, that's how it sort of ended up like working out. And so we didn't wind up going to that game. But I guess they lost just one, my dad said wasn't really a touchdown. And I think they lost though by like 3 touchdowns to 1. I don't exactly know what the extra points or anything like that was. I thought it was like maybe 20-8 or something like that. I don't totally know. But yeah, it was like I said, I think close to 3 touchdowns to 1 we ended up scoring. But yeah, so, but then the varsity game was not very successful. And Jack didn't end up getting to play a whole ton. He was in pretty much almost all the second half, but it was not very good score anyway. Like especially by that point. And it was weird though, because like, especially at the beginning, it sort of looked like they were hanging in there like a little bit, but like, I don't know, and like they could move the football, but yeah, it was sort of a whole thing. But yeah, like I said, I don't totally know, but it was really enjoyable too. Again, my aunt ended up coming over ahead of time, and so she was here from like I think maybe around 4 something until like 5 o'clock or 5:30 when we ended up going to the football game, when we brought her with, and then we ended up coming back here. But again, we ended up just sort of like hanging out and stuff like that for most of the afternoon, up until we ended up going to the football game. And yeah, so we, like I said, I don't know, the game wasn't like, Jack actually had a really good hit too, a really good tackle, and actually like they announced his name, which was really cool too, because like the away games a lot of times, like, or you know, like our home games, they will announce the away teams, you know, players and stuff like that, but like normally it's not like always that common. A lot of times it's more like, oh, another, you know, first down for your so-and-so school. Like they won't, you know, like pep up the other school or something like that, but they'll just sort of be generic and, you know, like saying like, oh, there was a tackle made by this person or whatever. And again, some schools don't even really say that. They'll just say like, oh, he was tackled by, you know, like somebody from the team, you know, that team or whatever, and not even like really announce the kids' names all that much. But Jack actually got, again, the second week now, where he had a really good tackle that was like pretty much, I think it was a solo tackle, maybe there was another person, but sort of was the one that really initiated it. And took the kid down, and like I said, maybe there was somebody else that came over the top or something like that, but like Jack got his name called from the announcer, which I was like, yay, like that's Jack. So we were so loud too, and then we asked Jack like afterwards, because like I said, it was me, my mom, and my aunt. So then after the game, or you know, like when we got back home, like my dad said that on the field he could hear us, and he's like, I bet Jack could hear you guys too. So when we got back home, we ended up asking him like, oh, did you wind up, you know, were you able to hear us, you know, after your name was called? And he was like, yeah, I heard you guys were like so loud because we cheered initially because I saw it was him that made the tackle, and then they made the announcement like, oh, he was tackled by so-and-so, and we were like, yeah. And so I was like, yeah, that's Jack. But anyways, yeah. So, like I said, it was, you know, like not that crazy positive of a game. But like I said, I felt like maybe it was a little bit better than last week. It seemed like every single play the other team had, they ended up scoring a touchdown on, which was really sad. But like it was a little bit more competitive through like some parts of the game. But I think the first 2 games, Jack said, and maybe the last 2 are supposed to be the hardest really of the whole season. So I was like, okay, well, like hopefully again, like they'll get at least, I don't want to say better, maybe they can get better, but like, you know, at least the competition isn't going to be quite as high as it was, you know, it normally is. Like, I mean, again, they've competed sometimes against these teams. The last 2, well, I don't know, what was the first team they played? I don't remember. But the team we played last week, it wasn't like all that crazy competitive. But I don't remember in the past if it was or not. The team we played tonight, I remember them a couple times sort of like not doing too bad. Like some varsity years, like I don't remember last year necessarily, but again, there's other teams too that are supposedly easier, but then like we've lost worse to them sometimes, so like I totally don't know. And again too, it always depends every year, right? Because you have different kids every single year. It's not like the NFL where it's like, oh yeah, we got these same stud players or whatever. It's like those kids are going to grow up and be seniors, and then those seniors are going to be graduated, you know, and stuff like that. So like even if they were, they're not going to maybe be around all that often. It sort of depends, again, like I said, just based on, I guess, players and stuff like that. But like normally, like you can sort of know what to expect, like this team is like a powerhouse, or like they do this thing, or like, you know, they normally, you know, their kids are speedier or something like that, or they like to really, you know, like the quarterback has a really good arm. It's like you sort of know what to game plan for. And then sometimes too, it's just like they always run this offense, so like they're really good at doing this thing or whatever, and like we can't defend really well against that maybe, or something like that. But then it depends too, like our players. But I'm not even gonna go into that entirely because we always run the same stuff, and it never matters what the players are that we have. It's like we always wind up running the exact same thing, like even if they can't handle it. So far we've put up no points on offense in the last 2 games. We put up 7 points last week, but that was on special teams. So I don't know, guys. Last week the Frost-Off didn't put up any points, and this week they did put up, like I said, I think it was 8 points. So in total, I think between your 2 teams that have played in a combination of 4 games, you put up 8 points in total in your offense. Like, I don't know, doesn't seem like it's working to me, but and again, I'm not a football, you know, high school football coach. So yeah, anyways though, just from being just having that observation. It will be interesting because again, like I said, the games should possibly be a little bit easier maybe, but like too, like there was one team that was normally not very good either, and like we've beaten them at some, you know, games in the past and stuff like that, but I think that they got a new coaching staff that sort of changed things, and sometimes that's it too, like, you know, and so they maybe do stuff differently. And they were actually, I thought, pretty good, the Frost-Off team, not last year but I think 2 years ago. So those would be all possibly juniors now this year, and if that same coaching staff is around. I don't remember last year, but again, like that sort of is one of those other things that depends, because, you know, that stuff can also change as well. So anyways, yeah guys, long story short, I need to go take a shower and get to bed because I think me and my aunt and my mom are actually going to go out shopping tomorrow in the afternoon, and we're not going to go grocery shopping in the morning, partially because of that, but also too because I don't have my grocery list finished yet for Jewel, and so I'm going to wind up working on that, I think, on Sunday, or do it tomorrow and then go on early on Sunday morning. And also too, like, yeah, I just feel like it would work out better. But anyway, so I think we're gonna go shopping. But if I wind up finding anything cool, which I don't know if I will, but I'll let you guys know in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.